I don't care if it's Zack Baun, Christian Braun, or Braun. Eagles going back to back. Stop playing. What was the top priority this offseason? It was to re-sign Zack Baun. And Howie Roseman did just that. A 3-year deal. $51 million, $34 million guaranteed at signing with $1.5 million in incentives. Zack Baun is that guy. Zack Baun's that bald eagle. Zack Baun helped turn around this defense. And think about this. Zack Baun's a guy that with the Saints, he was an afterthought. They said he was a bust. Said he couldn't do it. You know, I'm looking at Zack Baun's story, and I'm saying to myself, God's good. God is good. If that doesn't give you motivation, I don't know what will. Because I'm looking at a guy that in New Orleans with the Saints, they talk down on him. They ain't believe in him. And then he goes to Philly on a 1-year prove-it deal. Becomes, let me just name the stats. First team All-Pro. Has 151 tackles, 5 forced fumbles in this playoff run, right? Interception, forced fumble and fumble recovery. And in the Super Bowl, picked off Mahomes. And where was the Super Bowl? In New Orleans. You literally can't write a better script. You can't. So we need to praise this guy. We need to go ahead and show him some love. And I'm just so happy that Howie Roseman continues to evolve. Because in the past, I don't know that he keeps Zack Baun. This is the same guy that let TJ Edwards leave. Now, it's easier to let a guy leave when you lose in the Super Bowl than win. But Howie Roseman is famous for not paying linebackers, right? Being like, it's not that. But he evolves. The Eagles are famous for not paying running backs. They let Miles Sanders walk. They let, DeAndre Swift walk. For real. What they go do? They go ahead and make Saquon Barkley the highest paid running back in NFL history. So it's certain things that you do in any profession that you have to be able to evolve. You have to. And so Zack Baun, when I saw him, I think he was in Wisconsin, and he was chanting the Fly Eagles Fly chant. This was before he signed the extension. I was like, okay, it's only a matter of time. Just do right by, bro. It's only a matter of time. And again, I'm thinking about Zack Baun and the stats that he put up this year when he's a first-team All-Pro, 151 tackles, 69 defensive stops, leads the NFL, 3.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, multiple interceptions. He had one in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl. He had one in the wild card. I mean, he was everywhere, bro. And my thing is, if Zack Baun was Fred Warner, we're talking about potentially the greatest linebacker season of all time. And what I mean by that is, if Zack Baun's name was Fred Warner, given his stats, given his success individually and the team, you could argue this is one of the best linebacker seasons of all time. Of all time. You talking about what he did compared to Luke Kuechly, it's very, very similar. I ain't saying he Luke Kuechly, but I'm saying it's similar, bruh. So we got to give credit where credit is due. And the one thing with Zack Baun that I failed to mention earlier, but we're going to mention it now, is that Zack Baun's a unique player because he's 28 years old, but because he was a special teams player in New Orleans and he isn't a traditional linebacker, at least he wasn't when he first came into the league, he doesn't have the wear and tear guys like Roquan Smith and Fred Warner have. So he has all these accolades. He's coming off a breakout season, and he doesn't have the wear and tear. So I believe that he'll have 2 to 3 years of dominance, 2 to 3 years of showing that this wasn't a fluke. And if this is his first season with Vic Fangio, I can only imagine what year 2 is going to look like, what year 3 is going to look like, what year 4 is going to look like. This guy is the truth, bro. And I think a lot of Eagles fans, we saw the difference in Zack Baun week 1 when it was like, oh, this guy is everywhere. Like, he's everywhere. That was oh, maybe this is like just a breakout game for him. I don't know if he can like be that consistent because we were still scarred from Shaq Barrett and no, my fault, Shaq Leonard and Nicholas Morrow. So we were still like scarred from that. So we were like, hey, I mean, like, good game, but we got to see him do it again. And then we just keep seeing this guy just dominate. And it's like, all right, maybe he could be an all-pro. All right, now he should be first team. All-pro. Defensive player of the year? I mean, it just kept getting better and better and better. And then in the playoffs, he got to another level. It's amazing. And before I get off, because I wanted to get this episode out to y'all, instant reaction to Zack Baun signing with the Birds, is that there's an unsung hero that needs to be recognized with the Philadelphia Eagles. And this guy is somebody that I don't know if I really should highlight because I don't want him to get another job outside of Philly, being selfish right now. But it's Bobby King, a.k.a. BK. This is a guy that joined the Eagles in 2024. And given this context, bruh, he contributed to a Titans defense that ranked first in the NFL in 2023 in red zone touchdown efficiency. And he also helped Azeez Al-Shaair get a career-high 163 tackles, which ranked 5th overall in the league, with also 9 tackles for loss. And so it's not a coincidence that Bobby BK King has worked wonders with Nakobe Dean, with Zack Baun, with Oren Burks. And not only should all those players individually get credit, not only should Vic Fangio get credit, but we need to spotlight these position coaches like a Christian Parker. Obviously, we know Jeff Stoutland. We need to highlight these guys and what they did. Because my biggest problem with people judging the Eagles and saying that they're a super team, bruh, before the year started, y'all was saying our defense trash. My thing with the super team, you got to come into the season already expecting they're about to be dominant. There were questions about Saquon Barkley. Is he going to be healthy? Is he that guy? Is he overrated? Like the Golden State Warriors with KD, them LeBron James teams with the Cavs, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, it was a foregone conclusion they were meeting in the finals. That's a super team. When you already know, it's no debate. You already know, bruh. Like, when the Chiefs had Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Kelsey, it was like, bruh, it's a foregone conclusion, dog. I know their defense ain't as good as it, was of late, but it was a foregone conclusion. It wasn't a foregone conclusion that this Eagles team was going to be this dominant. And that's my point. And I look at this Lions team that they were still the prohibitive favorites to win the championship in the playoffs. They still were. So there were still doubts. So let's not revise history and be like, oh, this juggernaut Eagles team that, oh my gosh, they had all this talent. We know they have talent. We know that they're amazing. But you can't go out there, doubt them, and then when they prove you wrong, say, oh my God, well, look at this team that they have. Again, what do we say? We've been trying to tell you. Come on. Come on. But my last point on this, bruh, my favorite point, or my favorite, not my favorite point, my favorite story with the Eagles linebacker coach Bobby BK King was that he not only knew Zack Baun in the pre-draft process in 2020, but he also did this thing right here. He actually was the guy that took some real shots trying to emphasize the importance of block destruction for his linebackers. So this guy will have a pattern on vest and make his players strike him to get off blocks because he just is so freaking adamant on you gotta go ahead and destroy these blocks, bro, and go out there and be great in the run game and rush the passer in certain aspects, certain instances, and all this stuff. And what does Zack Baun say? He's taking some real shots. His big thing is block destruction. So he puts it in his own hands and it's on his own chest too, to feel how good of a strike we get. I will say it again because for some reason I got 2 degrees and I can't even read right now. Please, please bear with me. He's taking some real shots, Zack Baun said. His big thing is block destruction, so he puts it in his own hands and it's on his chest too, to feel how good of a strike we get. That's a freaking coach. That's a freaking coach. That's amazing. Him and Nick Sirianni were also cool. So all I'm saying is, bro, it comes down to the player. It comes down to the front office. It comes down to the coaches. It comes down to all of these pieces working together. It sounds like I'm being Captain Obvious, but I just want us to give credit all around. The credit goes to Howie Roseman for signing Zack Baun. And I think Howie would even tell you he didn't think Zack Baun would be this good. The credit goes to Vic Fangio. The credit obviously goes to Zack Baun, who's on the field making the plays. But we also have to show some light on the position coach, Bobby King, that has had tremendous success with this Eagles team. And I'm surprised he ain't become a DC somewhere in the league. And I'm glad that we got him again, as well as Christian Parker. Now, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We're talking Miles Johnson, where y'all know I always keep it real. I got some great stuff coming for y'all, and I love the support. We are out.